The Baltimore Ravens are betting everything on Lamar Jackson once again. And this time, the entire NFL is watching to see if the third offensive coordinator finally unlocks a Super Bowl run or exposes the same old flaw.
A new offense has led to success throughout Lamar's career. This is the third time that the Ravens have hired a new OC since drafting him in 2018. And the previous two times, he won NFL MVP in the first year with the new OC. He won 13 games in both of those MVP seasons with Greg Roman in 2019 and Todd Monken in 2023. So, Ben, how do you expect this offense to look different with Doyle now running the show?
I think it's less about how it looks different and more about how it actually sounds different. Declan Doyle comes from the Sean Payton tree and the Ben Johnson tree. Those are really wordy trees. Those coaches like to put a lot of language into their play calls. So the big difference that you hear Doyle talking about in minicamp is about stressing the guys out and making them really execute the details, because remember, Lamar doesn't have his center there in Tyler Linderbaum anymore. It's going to be a really new and inexperienced guy. So the big challenge for Lamar is going to be about getting in and out of the huddle, getting up to the line of scrimmage, adjusting play calls. But once the ball is snapped, Doyle wants to throw to the middle of the field. Lamar is elite at throwing to the middle of the field. Doyle wants to get under center. Well, Lamar gets under center a lot more than the other hyper-mobile quarterbacks do. The personnel might be a little different. You'll probably see more three receiver sets. But to me, it's much more about the operation in Baltimore. If they can get the offense installed well, then they should take off fast in September. And yeah, that third MVP might be in the cards.
It's a great point about how losing Tyler Linderbaum is going to affect this change. Ben, you said a couple of things I think that are important to stress here. Lamar being under center, Lamar throwing over the middle of the field. There are a few offenses right now across the league transitioning to this sort of offense. Philadelphia, Washington, we're going to talk about later. It is the current trend in the NFL. But of all of those offenses, or all those quarterbacks rather, Lamar Jackson is the one I worry about the least because, as Ben said, he has been elite over the last 5 years under center, first in QBR. Throwing over the middle of the field, second only to Justin Herbert. In fact, he's better throwing over the middle field than he is to outside the numbers, so I see a fantastic fit. My question is less about Lamar Jackson in the new offense and more about everybody else.
No. But the reason I'll say no is like, why are you laughing, kid?
Sorry, the pause and then the no. It's just like,
the reason I gotta say no is like, we are hopeful every year that Lamar has found his missing piece. At first it was, man, Lamar needs more than Greg Roman, even though Greg Roman helped Lamar win a unanimous MVP. That's fine. Okay, Lamar needs more help in the backfield. You got Derrick Henry. Man, they don't let Lamar air it out at all, bro. Let Lamar air it out like he did in college back in Louisville when he won the Heisman. Okay, you go get Todd Monken, and then you start bringing out 3 wide receiver sets and 4 wide receiver sets. Man, Lamar versus the Kansas City Chiefs when they were playing at the bank hosting at home, man, he passing too much. Why didn't they rely on the run? Okay, now we go get another offensive coordinator. Lamar has every iteration of everything, bro. Lamar needs more help. Forget the defense, which the Ravens have historically been known for. Let's draft Rashad Bateman in the first round. Let's draft Zay Flowers in the first round. Let's acquire Derrick Henry. Bro, Lamar has had an attempt at everything. Why would I now believe that this young bull and Declan Doyle is going to be the individual that changes things for Lamar? I think Doyle did study under Ben Johnson, if I'm not mistaken. So like that gives me some hope. It gives me some promise. But 2-5, we've seen every iteration of NFL offense that Lamar Jackson's been able to play under. I'm not going to buy this dream, bro.
Yeah, I don't really know much about Doyle like that to say that he's a missing piece. And I do feel like every time the Ravens get a new coordinator, we instantly say how great they are. And then I've been a part of the NFL, and I know how it is. You get a new coordinator, and you're at training camp, or not training camp, but mini camps, and you're like, oh my God, this guy is so smart. He's this and that. I remember we had it with Chip Kelly. Oh man, he's the next, and he was good for a year or so. But I don't want to get too wrapped up in that. I mean, this is some of that happens in the NFL. So you get a new piece, a new coach. Yep. You got to say, oh, he's so great. And Lamar might like what he got going on, but right now they're just doing stuff on air, right? Or they might be going against the defense, and it's real like basic, generic stuff. What gets tough is now you got a team game planning for your offense, right? Game plan for Lamar Jackson. All your deficiencies they're looking at. That's when it gets tricky. That's when it gets hard. So I don't want to judge this coach right now, but I do think that Lamar Jackson eventually will get over that hump and become a Super Bowl champion.
The reason I'll disagree,
and it's in his, I believe it's 8 or 9 games, he has 11 turnovers. He has less touchdowns than turnovers in the playoffs so far. It's just not been good enough from him. And it's not like he has not had the help around him. I understand people are going to say, oh, well, you're wide receivers. You drafted Bustad at the first. You had no problem leading that offense to being a top 5 offense during the regular season. Then in the postseason, it just completely disappears because you're turning the ball over and not finishing drives. So to me, it's I do think he's capable. He's one of the most talented, and I've said this time and time again. He is the most talented player to ever pick up a football and play the quarterback position. Ever. It's not even close. But in the playoffs, he's more of a Dak Prescott type performer than he is a Patrick Mahomes.
I think that Lamar Jackson,
because you kind of hid that under the expectations, but it's not that what you was. I know you, brother.
Yeah.
And you saying Lamar Jackson is overrated.
I want to add to this.
Lamar's good. In the regular season, Lamar's incredible, but in the playoffs, he's
a stinker.
I can't say he's in the playoffs, bro.
That goes to my point, though, Acho.
Bro.
When we talk about the best quarterbacks in the AFC over the last however many years, right? What do you say the 4 are? You say it's Pat.
Yeah.
You say it's Josh Allen.
Yeah.
You say it's Joe Burrow. You say
Yeah.
it's Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
When you look at who the MVP contenders are every single year at the quarterback position, it's Pat, it's Josh Allen, it's Joe Burrow, it's Lamar Jackson. Out of those 4, who's the best playoff performer? Rank them to worst playoff performer. 1 and 4 are non-negotiable. Sorry, out of those 4 guys, the worst playoff performer is Lamar Jackson.
This is not just another season in Baltimore. This is a full-scale gamble on a single man, Lamar Jackson. The franchise has done this before, and it worked twice. In 2019, under offensive coordinator Greg Roman, Lamar exploded into a 13-win MVP season. In 2023, under Todd Monken, it happened again. Another 13-win MVP-level surge. Now the cycle begins again. A third offensive coordinator enters the building, Declan Doyle. And the question hanging over the league is brutal. Is this evolution? Or is it déjà vu disguised as hope? Because every time Baltimore changes the system, Lamar responds with dominance in year 1. But the postseason story never changes. And now the entire NFL is watching, waiting to see if history repeats or collapses under its own illusion. But this time, the system isn't just changing names. It's changing language, structure, and the very way Lamar is being asked to think. This isn't just football anymore. It's mental warfare at the line of scrimmage. Declan Doyle comes from the coaching bloodline of Sean Payton and Ben Johnson, systems known for complexity, detail, and overwhelming play call language. And that matters, because Baltimore is changing operational DNA. No more simplicity, no more instinct-only football. Now it's precision under pressure. The challenge begins before the snap. Getting in and out of the huddle, adjusting protections, reading overloaded play calls, operating without veteran center stability after the loss of Tyler Linderbaum. And then comes the structure shift. Doyle wants more under-center football, more middle-of-the-field attack, more timing, less chaos. But here's the twist. Lamar is actually built for this. He ranks among the NFL's most efficient quarterbacks throwing over the middle. In fact, analytically, he is elite. First in QBR in that area, second only to Justin Herbert overall in comparable efficiency windows. This is not a limitation of talent. This is a test of processing speed. But just as optimism begins to build, the doubt machine starts spinning again. Because Baltimore has seen new systems before, and they all sounded perfect in June. Here's the uncomfortable truth nobody wants to say out loud. Every new coordinator in Baltimore sounds like a revolution. Until defenses show up in September. The skepticism is loud, and it's not without history. We've seen this pattern before. New voice, new structure, new hope. Then reality hits. Critics argue we've already done this dance. They point out Lamar Jackson was MVP level under multiple systems. He's had elite weapons added over time. He's had offensive evolution at every stage. Yet the postseason outcome never changes. And now the question becomes sharp, even uncomfortable. At what point is it no longer the system, but the execution under pressure? Even supporters hesitate because they've seen this movie before. Coordinators hyped in minicamp, only to be dissected by defensive coordinators in October. The NFL is ruthless that way. And when the playoffs arrive, the conversation stops being theoretical. It becomes statistical and brutal. Because in the postseason, narratives don't matter. Numbers do. Across roughly 8 to 9 playoff appearances, Lamar Jackson has produced a disturbing imbalance. 11 turnovers, fewer touchdowns than turnovers. That is the kind of statistic that doesn't whisper, it screams. And in those same conversations, comparisons become unavoidable. Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson. 4 elite AFC quarterbacks, 4 MVP caliber forces. But when the playoff pressure hits, the hierarchy shifts. Analysts argue Mahomes, championship standard. Allen, explosive but volatile. Burrow, cold-blooded postseason rhythm. Lamar, historically inconsistent under playoff pressure. One voice cuts through the debate. If you rank playoff performance alone, Lamar is last. Another adds fuel to the fire. In the regular season, he's unstoppable. In the playoffs, he disappears. And suddenly, the conversation turns from talent to legacy. And that leads to the final question, the one Baltimore cannot avoid anymore. This is the crossroads. Not of talent, not of coaching, not of system design, but of legacy. Lamar Jackson has already proven he can dominate the regular season. He has already proven he can win MVPs under multiple coordinators. He has already proven he can reshape an offense in real time. But the NFL doesn't crown regular season kings. It crowns postseason survivors. So now Baltimore stands here again, betting everything on a familiar belief. This time, the system will unlock it. But critics respond with equal force. We've heard that every year. And somewhere between belief and doubt, the season will decide the truth. Because if it works, Baltimore becomes unstoppable. If it fails, this won't be another adjustment. It will be a reckoning. Is this finally the year the system unlocks greatness, or the year the illusion breaks forever?
Yo, mic check 1 to 2, -1, -2. Game over for this video, folks. Smash that like button, drop a comment, and subscribe to stay in the huddle for more. This is NFL Madness, bringing the heat and signing out.